Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is ReadingBear and I hope you are ready for some more stories. And today, we'll take a look at some new malicious compliance content. If you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comment. And now, let's dive right into the stories.
First one is titled, "The rule says, you're not allowed to ride your bike on school property." Okay. This happened at a school I work at. I decided to start riding my motorcycle to work as the weather in the UK has finally brightened up and I like to go for a ride after work in the sunshine. Anyway, I park my bike in the correct area and secure it so everything is fine until home time comes around. I get asked to come to the school office. Apparently, one of the school administrators, proper Jobsworth, saw me come in on my motorcycle and wasn't happy because no two-wheeled vehicle may be ridden on school property without prior consent. Okay, I said and walked out the office. I had customized my bike to be very light and its nickname is the Softail Superleggera, so pushing my bike to the gates wouldn't be a problem. So, I push my motorcycle out the school gates before starting it up, but while I'm doing this a bunch of the students ask, why? So I tell them the rule and they mention how dumb it is. The next day, a bunch of students decided to come on their 50cc scooters and make a scene outside of the school. But once they are on school property they push their scooters over to the bike rack and secured them. Best bit, the administrator in question rode a push bike to school so the scooter squad stopped her, recited the rule and made her get off her bike and push it to the bike rack. She was aghast by how many students had brought their scooters to school, but the rule only applies to riding. Pushing and parking them in the bike rack once on school property is perfectly within the rules. Update. The rule has been suspended pending a rule review to be held over the summer holidays. The headmistress also thinks that this would be a golden opportunity to have Road Safety Week, leading up to the summer holidays. Sure, whatever. Knock yourself out. Next one is titled, "Just Make the Ground Flatter." Was reminded today of an incident from many years ago. At the time I was working for a large government contractor. Walking across the 5-acre campus one day I tripped over a bump in the ground, scraped my skin and sprained my wrist enough to require a brace. Per company protocol I immediately took myself over to the medical office for treatment and to fill out the stack of paperwork including the 27 8x10 color glossy pictures with circles and arrows and a paragraph on the back of each one. One of the questions asked what could be done differently to prevent this in the future. Being in a serious corporate job I couldn't just tell the shrink I wanted to kill. So the best sarcastic response I could come up with on how to prevent tripping over a bump in the ground in the future that wasn't going to cost me my job was, make the ground flatter. The medical staff smirked, I smirked, the corporate beast was satisfied. Several days later, on the weekend, I was escorting my parents around the facility so they could see where I worked. We walked past a crew cutting a square of bumpy asphalt out. The very bump I had tripped over. Remember the 27 8x10 color glossy pictures with circles and arrows and a paragraph on the back of each one? They then refilled the square hole to make the ground flatter. Of course, being a government contractor, maliciously complying with my suggestion to make the ground flatter wasn't exactly something they could do correctly. The patch job was about half an inch lower than the surrounding asphalt and actually became an even bigger trip hazard. But that's someone else's malicious compliance to deal with. Next one is titled, "Can't Give Me the Food I Want? I'll Do It Myself." Back in college at Mizzou, the freshmen living in the dorms would eat in a big cafeteria. You get in line, walk up to the counter for the food you want. The cafeteria worker would give it to you, then you sit and eat. Important to note it's an all-you-can-eat type thing. Once you swipe in, you can have an unlimited amount of food. Also, many cafeteria workers were students just trying to help pay for college. One day my buddies and I went to get some dinner in the cafe. One counter had chili cheese hot dogs with a side of fries. Sounds good. You know what sounds just as good? Chili cheese fries. That's what I want. I stand in line, wait, and get to the front. The worker, who was obviously a student my age, puts the hot dog in the bun, scoops the cheese from the container, puts it on the dog, scoops the chili from the other container, puts it on the dog, puts fries on the plate, hands it to me. "Hey, could I get some chili and cheese on my fries, please?" "No, sorry, it's not part of the recipe." "Right, I know, but I just wanted to get some on my fries." "No, sorry, I can't, it's not part of the recipe." I've had mixed and matched ingredients before with other workers, like it was no problem. "Can I just get some chili and cheese on my fries?" "I'm not going to say it again. I will not put it on your fries." I have the most dumbfounded what the duck look on my face, and she's staring me down, obviously irritated. I'm pretty angry with the rule I've never heard of or experienced, so I decided to go another route. I asked for another chili cheese hot dog. So she grabs another hot dog, puts it in a bun, puts on the chili, puts on the cheese, and hands it to me. Making a point of maintaining eye contact, I hold the second hot dog in my hand, take my fork, and scrape off all the chili and cheese from the top of the hot dog onto my fries on my first plate. "Thanks for the help." My buddies went up afterwards, and she didn't deny them chili and cheese on their fries. Next one is titled, "No Lesson Today." I work as a swim instructor for wealthy families. I teach lessons in people's private backyard pools. I am contracted through a company that sets up these lessons for me, and I am obligated to follow their policies and standards for cancellations and safety. Today, as is the case with many summer days, has been on and off thunderstorms. The majority of my lessons today have been canceled due to unsafe weather conditions. The weather policy is that if you hear thunder, you cannot enter the pool for 30 minutes. Lightning means 45 minutes. Lessons cannot be canceled until within an hour of the lesson due to weather, as things could always clear up. Today I was sitting at home after having canceled my first 4 lessons due to weather. I was texting my next lesson, which was just under an hour away. I let the mom know that the weather radar was showing almost guaranteed large thunderstorms in her area for the entirety of the lesson time. I offered to delay the lesson by half an hour to see if the storm would pass. The mother, seeing nothing but a sunny day outside, rejected my offer and insisted we continue to have the lesson for her children. As I'm getting ready for the lesson, the mother tries to call me. I was away from my phone, but when I come back I see I have a missed text message. She sees a dark cloud getting closer, so she asked if we can delay the lesson by 15 minutes. I again remind her of our cancellation policy and that if I make it to her house and the lesson has to be cancelled, she will still have to be charged for the full lesson. The mother insists she still wants the lesson, because it's a beautiful sunny day and her children deserve to swim. I tell the mother I'll be there shortly before the lesson. As I'm driving to her house, I am immediately hit with a horrible torrential downpour. Thunder and lightning all around me, shaking my car. I drive through this for about 15 minutes before hitting clear skies right before arriving to the house. I again text the mother that if I get out of my car and hear thunder, the lesson will have to be cancelled and she will have to be charged, as I arrived for the lesson at her request. The mother opens her front door to let me in, telling me all she has heard is faint rumbling, and the sky is still sunny, so her children should swim. As I'm walking into her house, we hear a boom of thunder so loud her whole house shakes. I then see lightning strike down probably about a mile away. I told the mother I'm sorry, but these are unsafe conditions. I will not put myself or your children at risk by getting in a pool of water during a thunderstorm. The mother proceeds to storm outside to the pool where her children are playing on the step to inform them their mean instructor won't teach them, so they have to get out of the pool. She then goes back inside to tell her friend who was hanging out with her that the instructor won't do it. I once again remind her of the weather policy and that it is non-negotiable. I also informed her that she will be charged for this lesson, as she insisted we have it, even at my hesitation for my safety. I then left as she mocked me to her friend. I got in my car and called my supervisor to let her know what had happened. Apparently this was the final straw for this parent, as she commonly tempted to get previous swim instructors to also swim when there was unsafe weather conditions. She was blacklisted from our company and refunded the additional lessons she had paid for in advance. I'm sorry, I wasn't willing to risk my life and my job so your children could swim. Next one is titled, Boss Learned Not to Be a Backseat Driver. This happened several years ago when I was tasked with driving my boss, some city official he was trying to impress, and some of my fellow workers in our company van. We were at a red light, behind a fairly loaded down truck. This truck was set up for working at job sites. It had a vise, a welder and other tools mounted on it, and some of them stuck out beyond the fender a bit. The truck was waiting for the light to change so it could go straight. We were going to turn right once it was out of the way. Go around it on the right, the boss says. I had already thought about doing that, but was pretty sure that I didn't have enough room. I told him that. You've got enough room, he insisted. I'm in a hurry. Go around it. His van, his rules. Okay, I went around it. One of those tools mounted on that truck stuck out just far enough that it sliced the outer sheet metal side of the van like a can opener all the way from the hood to the back fender. He was even later after all the time it took for the cops to come and investigate and write a report. Next one is titled, Dress Code Compliance Done the Right Way. Sadly, I am not the perpetrator for this compliance, but I am watching as things unfold. Though I am not sure if there will be any developments. So, background story. I am a guy working in a huge IT company, an hour. Only guy in a sea of middle-aged women. Recently we hired a new receptionist that is young and is by all definitions a 9/10 and won't be surprised if this is her first job due to how young she looks like. Practically a college girl. Said girl has a particular style that does not fit the corporate mold. She likes to wear corsets, heavy makeup, and by all accounts would be a goth girl at a corpo office. Still, personally, I don't find issues with the clothing as it's not over-sexualized, provocative, and she does not act in that manner either. She does the job she is hired, and that's what matters. But I am 100% she dresses like that on purpose and knows the effect style and visage have on people, as she seems to care and understand fashion. Men obviously are attracted to her, as I am sure women would be attracted to a handsome man. Here is where things go wrong. Attending all-hands HR meeting consisting of some BS. One of the middle-aged women takes offense of the way the girl dresses up. It's inappropriate, men look at her and so on, she should dress plain while at work. I do an eye roll as we promote our company as one that people are free to express themselves at, being the way they dress too. Said woman said that she already complained to her boss. I would say it was pure woman pettiness and jealousy. Compliance. Our receptionist get the talk about office attire at some point by her boss. What she decides to do is follow it to the letter. Remember how the advice was to dress more plain? Well, she followed it all right. Next time we meet she is still wearing the heavy makeup, the long nails, but dressed in an old plain sweatshirt that you most likely would use to lounge at home and would cost like $5 to $6, and some short shorts of the same style. Looking like they are a couple of years old. Now that's what I call not fitting for work. She as well may have come in her pajamas, heck I may join her. And below all that she was still wearing the corset awkwardly tucked in her pants, not fitting with the look at all. I am sure she is doing it on purpose. I don't think there will be much development, but my wife and friends are lolling our asses at the whole petty situation. P.S. I don't really care how people dress personally. Come to work in a cat suit if you want to. Clothing just need to be clean. All is okay as long as you do the job you are hired for. I also hate promoting one thing, inclusiveness and acceptance, like all big corpos, and then actually not following with it. Last one is titled, Only Do the Shaded Lines? Okay. I work for a small manufacturing company that makes agriculture implements and large mowers. I've worked here almost a decade, and my primary job is to prepare the assembly line for new production. I get a schedule list every morning and do my job pretty much without oversight for the rest of the day. Occasionally there are issues with the parts supply in the weld department or in the assembly department, and adjustments have to be made to the schedule list. Sometimes I discover these on my own. Sometimes someone else lets me know of the issue, in which case I must go to the product manager. He is not my direct manager. I have a supervisor I answer to according to my department, but the nature of my job answers to his manager, the product manager. Most of the time I can find him walking around in the facility or sitting in his office. He seems to think I get all the information I need from him, very little. And I don't need to ask any questions or be privy to information I believe to be important. Some coworkers think it's because I'm a woman, but I can't be sure. On to the story. Several years ago, we had a large expansion to our facility and the paint department became larger. We started putting the gearboxes for our mowers on a separate assembly line to be painted. Our schedule list went from being a few pages long every day in black and white, to being one page in color according to the color of paint the products would be. This new list also had a column titled, Gearboxes, and some were marked with an X and some were not. The product manager told me to only load the products in the shaded rows, indicating their gearboxes were ready for assembly. So one day, I'm doing my job like usual and noticed that I was almost out of shaded product. I went to the product manager's office and he was in a meeting. I can't interrupt meetings. Okay, I can't get a new list from anyone else, and he didn't update me on any gearboxes getting painted today. Cue malicious compliance. It's happened before that the assembly line has ran empty because of parts missing as mentioned before, and I would be in a world of trouble if I prepared for product that did not have gearboxes ready. So, I let the assembly line run empty of product. Looking back, I do not recall why no one else came along to question or stop me, but the assembly line ran empty for an hour. Finally, the product manager came out of his meeting and walked past my desk, looking up. "Why aren't you loading X product?" "Because I don't have any more shaded gearboxes on my schedule." He sighed, turned away from me for several moments before turning back and calmly saying, "Load the X product." Apparently, the gearboxes got painted that morning, and he didn't get me an updated schedule list or even let me know they were complete. It's literally my job to know these things, sir. Please don't leave me in the dark. To top off this story, some of my paperwork I fill out every day indicates how much the company makes per foot that the assembly line runs on the average day. So that hour that I didn't do anything because no one updated me with new information cost them over $20K. He keeps me updated much better these days. Thanks for listening.